All right, welcome into Sunday Night Live, presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please enjoy responsibly. Sunday Night Live back in your life. Just the boy today, solo. We may be getting a special appearance by somebody later on in the show, closer to kickoff of Sunday Night Football, which we got a banger tonight. Ravens-Bills is going to be a banger. More on that later on. So it's going to be the boy today solo. We're going to do a bit of a different show. We're going to do some cool little features, little segments, and then we're going to open it up for questions from the chat a little later on in the program. One big thing I want to start with today. There's a lot of football to be played, a lot of storylines happening. I think none bigger than what we saw happen at the Big Toaster today. In the desert, Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. Wow. Again, Arizona, not a super powerhouse team defensively. There's holes all over all three levels of the defense. But what Jayden Daniels has been able to do in 4 games as a rookie in the NFL, this is not like when he was in college, took him a year, transferred from Arizona State to LSU, and then became a dynamo, won the Heisman, and was like, oh, this is easy. Playing football is easy. Football is not supposed to be easy. Jayden Daniels is making the NFL look very simple. Hamstrung with an offensive coordinator who isn't that good. Cliff Kingsbury, very horizontal offense, wants to run everything close to the line of scrimmage, has finally opened it up a little bit more. But Jayden Daniels has been such a dynamic player and passer through 4 games of his rookie NFL career. It's astonishing. It's amazing. I think I saw right before we got on here a stat that he's completed 82% of his passes in the NFL with guys that are okay. Terry McLaurin plus wide receiver. I think if you put him on any other team, he'd still be one of their top offensive guys. But from what I was looking out there and seeing, again, no Austin Eckler this week because he had a concussion. Jeremy McNichols as RB2. Olamide Zaccheaus, he's throwing passes to Noah Brown. Guys that are retreads, guys that are second tier, third tier skill position players. B-Rob is a absolute hammer. Loved watching him run the ball. But what he's been able to do with guys that have been all right, guys that are okay, guys that are B and C guys on other teams, and elevating them to very good numbers. Zach Ertz, by the way, the corpse of Zach Ertz is catching passes and being a very good tight end. Like, that's somebody, Anthony Ortiz, shout out to the boy. Zach Ertz revenge game. Yeah, I like a lot of people are just remembering, oh, wait, Zach Ertz is a commie. That's right. I forgot about that. According to Warren Sharp from Sharp Football, brilliant guy on the NFL, Jayden Daniels, #1 completion rate in NFL history through 4 games, 82%. Also ranks number 2 in expected pass per attempt, number 2 in success rate, number 3 in first downs per attempt, number 5 in yards per attempt. He's playing, if you look around the NFL right now, there is it's crazy that I'm about to say this. There is a chance, if you look across the NFL right now, that Jayden Daniels can not only be Rookie of the Year, but he can be the MVP. And that just hit me. That just hit me right now. He's playing at an MVP level. Watch out if Washington actually makes this NFC East a division that they can win. You look at Dallas, decent team on paper, still trying to flesh it out defensively. The Eagles, which we'll get to in a little bit. My favorite bet, my stone cold lock of the year. I gave it on against the spread earlier this week on the LeBatard Show. Bucks, 2.5-point dogs at home. Easy money. Bucks steamrolled. So Eagles got issues. Giants are dead in the water. Dallas has issues. This Washington team, again, not super tested the first couple games of the year. Played the Giants, played the Bengals, played Arizona, and I'm blanking on who they played week 1. But Jayden Daniels right now is unreal. Unreal. So I'm very excited to see what he's been able to do from a running perspective, from a passing perspective, stretching the field. Just everything he does is right so far. Everything. So that was my one big thing. My one big takeaway from the weekend was, wow, and I see a lot of people watching or commenting in the chat saying Josh Allen for MVP. Yeah, okay, maybe. But he's a rookie, and he's this good, this quickly. The NFL is a roller coaster. 7 to 18 games now. It's a roller coaster. Bengals started off 3-0, or 0-3, excuse me. They can be 11-5 come year's end. Anything can happen in the NFL. But for right now, if you were to close shop on MVP voting through the first quarter of the season, my vote is Jayden Daniels. 16, I think it was 16 straight drives without a punt or a turnover. When do you see that ever? Even the best offenses we've seen. You look at the Mahomeses. You look at the Josh Allens. You look at, let me see, Jayden MVP plus 6,000, says Dylan Hamilton on MVP on DK. Sprinkle a little bit in there. Sprinkle a little. Diodoni says, hey, sprinkle a little bit on Jayden Daniels plus 6,000. If we get midway through the season, those odds might be shrinking quickly. Best thing I saw today, Jayden Daniels. I want to do a little bit of a video segment too. We've got some of the best things I saw on defense and on offense. Best thing I saw on defense, TD in the back making Sunday Night Live happen as he always does. Pull up, best thing I saw on defense, Fred Warner today, who's probably playing some of the best ball on the planet from the linebacker position. Look at this. Pick. He jumps up 6 feet in the air, gets up. Here we go. He doesn't even look like he's running fast, just cruising. He looks like a cruise ship. Boom, touchdown, pick six. In a game that was never close. Fred Warner playing the best ball of any linebacker and playing incredible defense right now. For all of my people in the chat that play Madden, play college football, the new drop, the linebacker is never supposed to make that play. That is a fake ass play that anytime it happens to me in college football or when I'm playing Madden, I'm like the computer cheats so much. TD, can we replay it? Can we go down and replay it, but then stop it when he's like mid-air, like at the peak apex of the. So here we go. Brissett throwing, thinks he has an open lane. Look at where the ball is. Look how high the ball is, and look where he comes down and catches that. There's two open Patriot receivers behind him. Brissett's like, there's no way that he's going to make that pass. There's no way. By the way, there's three guys that are wide open in the secondary for the Patriots. Brissett decides to throw it up the middle. There was a couple guys on the outside there, as you can see to the right, hash that are open. But Fred Warner makes an incredible play. Obviously, as you see, picks it, goes to the house. But that linebacker position is not supposed to make that play. You're not supposed to get up untouched and then run it in for a touchdown with all the guys basically within 10 yards of you, and you're just out sprinting them to the end zone. Incredible. Best defensive play I saw today. For the best offensive play that I saw today, we've got two. And we're going to load up the first one. Let's load up in that same game. George Kittle, pass from Brock Purdy after 2 touchdowns have been wiped off the board. George Kittle comes up on 3 different guys. And basically says, excuse me, I'll take that. Oh, we can play with the audio? Oh, no, we can't. My bad. We'll play it silent. Here we go. Brock Purdy in the end zone. 3 Patriot defenders. Doesn't matter. Kittle does not get as much love as he deserves. I know all the inside baseball, inside football guys are like, his blocking is incredible. He blocks like an offensive lineman. He goes out, runs past people. Let's see if we can pause it, TD. At the moment, right. A little bit more right. 3 defenders right there. 3 guys on him. Purdy with a beautiful pass right to the sideline. Let's go 1 second up. And then finishes the catch, continues the catch, gets in bounds, scores a touchdown. This game wasn't close. We'll get to it a little later. This game wasn't close. San Francisco rolls. But Kittle is in a world where the tight end position has been down this season because even though Kelsey had a decent game, we'll get to stuff like that in a second. But Laporta's been hurt. Mark Andrews has been invisible. Dallas Goedert's been playing well. But in a year where the tight end has been a little down, especially in fantasy tight end has been a wasteland. But he has been a bright spot, I think, in the game where he's just such an incredible blocker. Shanahan opens up schemes so well for running backs. As you can see, it doesn't matter if McCaffrey's back there. It doesn't matter if Jordan Mason's back there. Isaac Guerrero, who's their number 3, could probably put up numbers in the same way because this scheme is so good. And guys like that, like George Kittle, open things up for the running game, but also can make plays in the pass. Second best thing I saw today on offense, Jamar Chase. The boy said, pay me my money, even though it hasn't happened yet. This play from Bengals and Panthers
rush
has been unreal. Watch this.
Has lots of time, and
Bender Wright's right here. Okay, okay, hold on. The boy's gone. We gotta play without the
down the
music.
sidelines. Panthers chasing Chase. They won't catch him.
Easy.
63 yards, pinballing off tacklers.
Four defenders had a chance to tackle him, and he ran right by everybody. Right by everybody. Here we go, one more time.
Panthers.
5 guys, 2, 3, and just runs out. Just faster than everybody. Best thing I saw today from the offensive side of the ball, those 2 plays. I want to pull up something interesting too before we get to kind of a little recap of the games and some questions from the chat, which, by the way, we love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting everything we do. I want to bring up the Tom Brady thing. I don't know if people saw this or not, but there was a moment throughout the broadcast where Tom Brady, revealed, we're not going to play that one, but revealed that he almost went to the Bears in free agency, kind of snuck that in there. He's like, they were very stealth in the recruitment of Tom Brady, which I thought was interesting because that would have been a weird fit with a team that was not that good at that point in time. He made the right choice going to the Bucs, obviously winning a Super Bowl. But Baker Mayfield was asked about the difference in his style of leadership and his style of play and his style of just vibes in the building. Tom Brady did not like the quote that Baker gave. Let's see if we can roll the tape on what Tom Brady said. And KB, his broadcast partner, was kind of looking over. I want you to watch KB and be like, damn, is he comfortable with exactly what's going on? Because Tom Brady is roasting Baker Mayfield. Let's see if we can roll it.
Here said, quote, they wanted me to come in, be myself, bring the joy back to football for guys who weren't having as much fun. It's funny because you've made this environment for me very stressful up here in the booth, so I understand where he's coming from.
Do you feel it?
No.
Feel the stress? No. Well, I was going to say, I thought stressful was not having Super Bowl rings. So there was a mindset of a champion that I took to work every day. This wasn't daycare. If I wanted to have fun, I was going to go to Disneyland with my kids.
Yeah, so you know, as you were saying, go ahead. That's you feel like I feel like there's more in there to say.
There's a way to approach this game,
yeah,
and it's that with the right mindset and try to push each other outside of our comfort zone. And great teammates do that. You come in, I have someone like Gronkowski, I have someone like Evans. There's high expectations for us. We got to make sure we go out there and deliver.
The competitive juice is still flowing,
still in there.
I love
no
it.
Apologies.
KB's like, go ahead. There's still more. I still want you to say what you have to say. Can you imagine Tom Brady must have been livid in a sense where he's like, you got to give me an opportunity to say something, right? Because there's no way that KB puts him on the spot and says, I think there's a little bit more in there. If he doesn't have, if this was just brought up out of the blue, KB would have been like, oh, okay, he had to say what he had to say, and that's it. I think, and we could put our tinfoil hats on, but during the production meeting, they were like, Baker's not getting away with this one. Tom Brady's like, hell nah. Hell nah. If we can get, let's see, Nathaniel says, that's the Brady we need in the booth. Absolutely. What I was just about to say was, if we can get the Brady that we had in the roast, obviously toned down a little bit, but the Brady that is a little bit of a wild card, I'm here for that. Wild card Brady would be elite in the booth. It was like that one time, I think it was Bruce Arians, funny enough, former coach of Tom Brady, who when doing a color commentary on a game on CBS or maybe Fox, said that a guy was running butt ass naked down the sideline for a touchdown. That's the kind of stuff we need. I'm here for a R-rated broadcast booth. People, can we do that? Can we all sign a petition of some sort? We need two things to happen. We need a regular broadcast booth for the people that like that kind of thing, but then a dirty side, a R-rated side of the broadcast booth that's saying outlandish things and cursing and going crazy. Are we in? I feel like that's a good idea. All right, let's do a quick rundown recap of the games. I want to start with the Texans and the Jaguars. Texans continue to be one of the better teams in the NFL. And I know I've been positioned as a big Jaguars guy, but Duval County stand up. I've also said on many a due times, I'm a Houston Texans man. I had them winning the division last year on another Sunday Night Live. Last year I said, like in week 6 or something, they were going to win the division. CJ Stroud's the truth. Incredible quarterback. Trevor Lawrence. I had mentioned on a Tony's Top 5 last year when we were at Gallo Ocho and the peanut guy came up to me and I asked him if Trevor Lawrence was in a bigger market, would he be getting more scrutiny? And the guy was like, yes, of course. I don't know if he knew who Trevor Lawrence was, but that's not the point. The point is that point still stands true today. If you side by side and comparison shop Trevor Lawrence's numbers with that of, let's say, Daniel Jones, you'd be shocked to see how similar they are and how Daniel Jones is a little bit better in some categories than Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville feels like a bit of a forgotten franchise out in just space floating out. But Peterson has been doing a poor job in getting this team ready for a very winnable division. 1. 2, Press Taylor. Their team has been bringing in decent free agent acquisitions. They've been drafting okay. They haven't materialized coaching-wise and front office-wise into the stars that they should have, whether that be the coaching staff, whether that be the quarterback, whatever. Jacksonville it's done. It's over. You paid Trevor Lawrence $200 and some odd million over 5 years. It's over. That's not it. And I wanted to bring that up to specifically say that because there's a lot of quarterbacks getting paid a lot of money. A lot of money. Trevor Lawrence is not worth that. An exciting game that we had. A lot of games came down to the wire today. We'll run through this one. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Broncos Jets. I saw that both quarterbacks had negative passing yards at one point in the game. And then we had let's see if TD on the screen, can we put up the Aaron Rodgers with the towel over his face? See if we can find that at some point. Just flash it on the screen whenever you have it. I'll filibuster till then. Bo Nix in that game. Yes, watery game, rain, elements, whatever. Rodgers has been through that. Bo Nix really hasn't at this level, obviously. That game was ugly. I'm just surprised that Rodgers was stopped so easily. I think the Broncos defense is legit, and it has been for the last couple of years, but I was very shocked by that game. Bengals Panthers, what are you going to do? Bengals finally get off the snide. Panthers playing better with Andy Dalton, but not anything insane. That felt like a bit of a ho-hum game for the Bengals, who finally turned it on towards the back half of the second half. Bears get a good win over the Rams. Caleb Williams still missing throws that it feels like he should be making. Feels like he should be making a lot of throws. There was a play where DJ Moore, this is how a lot of, let's put that up big. That's how a lot of Jets fans feel. That's how a lot of Chiefs fans feel at the moment with the Rashee Rice injury. I, as a Rashee Rice manager in fantasy, felt that way instantly when it happened. We'll get to that in a second. But Caleb Williams not looking as good as Jayden Daniels. He's not. And I know the pressure cooker of the NFL, people react to it differently. People are going to say, oh, it's the same situation as the CJ Stroud. Like, oh, he was taken second overall. He's a better player. And it's like, sure, yeah. Sometimes you hit on guys that are number one, a la Andrew Luck. Sometimes you hit on guys that are number two, like Jayden Daniels. And Caleb Williams still has a lot to grow. The pressure cooker of the NFL is going to force them to be excellent from the start. And it's a tough barometer to measure all other quarterbacks by the Jayden Daniels comparison, by the CJ Stroud comparison, because not everybody is put into a position that ensures success. Caleb Williams has been put into a position that ensured success. DJ Moore paid him a lot of money to be your best receiver. Rome Odunze, you take him in the top 10. Good player. Flashed it last week in their win over the Colts. Keenan Allen finally starting to get healthy. Played today, I think had like 3 catches for 40-some-odd yards. Cole Kmet, turning the corner. DeAndre Swift, best game of the season. The whole thing was they don't have a run game. All right, DeAndre Swift, 143 yards total offense. Had a touchdown. Caleb, it's you have the keys to the Ferrari. It's you. I want to give him the right runway to be able to grow in his rookie year. Not everybody's going to complete 82% of their passes and look like a world beater through 4 games like Jayden Daniels. I'm sorry. That's not the way it goes. That's why he is so special in what is happening in the NFL right now. Stroud, another guy, special. Caleb Williams could be special, but right now it's still a bit of a learning curve. Younghoe Koo with the game winner in the Falcons and Saints game. That one was fun to watch. Pick 6 for the Falcons. Saints coming back to earth a little bit after a super hot start. I'm still bullish on the Saints. I think they're a good team. Defensively, they've had some injuries, but I like the Saints making the playoffs this year. I'm going to pencil that in. Saints make the playoffs this year. Wild card team. Maybe win the division, but the Bucs are just playing so good right now that it's hard to do that. Baker is playing unreal, playing his ass off. They have 2 running backs that are good. Bucky Irving has been a very good surprise as a rookie. Godwin's been just rock solid, rock steady. Mike Evans. Oh, we just got some breaking news. Rashee Rice feared to have a torn ACL. That's hot off the press right now. Rashee Rice feared to have a torn ACL. That is tough. I'll put the Bucs conversation on pause for a second. The Rashee Rice situation. So preseason, we all know what happened with the hit and run saga that never really turned into any sort of suspension for Rashee Rice. Okay, so this is from James Palmer on Twitter. It's feared that Rashee Rice has potentially suffered a season-ending ACL tear per source. An MRI tomorrow will provide more information, but the Chiefs are preparing for the worst. Brutal blow to a player that was off to an outstanding sophomore season. So that was James Palmer. So all the turmoil of the offseason, we get to the season. He has a great couple of first games, first, second, third game. Looks like Chiefs wide receiver 1. They're moving, and it's business as usual for the Chiefs, 3-0. I wanted to bring this up on the show last week. There was a 3-0 team that was not like the others. And if you look at all of the metrics from PFF, if you look at some of the more analytical stuff, it would show you that the Chiefs, offensively, middle of the pack team, defensively, middle of the pack team. Mahomes has been an average quarterback so far, and I don't think that's wrong to say. He's been average as far as yards per attempt, touchdowns, interceptions, average. He's just Mahomes, and he can make things happen at the most critical times. Them being 3-0 was a bit of a mirage. I know they won today again against a just debilitated Chargers team, and it took everything for the Chargers not to win that game. But when Mahomes throws that interception, and this is why it's so dangerous to try and flip the field and become a defensive player when somebody is trying to return a fumble or an interception. And I'm reminded of Baker throwing an interception for the Browns, trying to make a play on a tackle. Separated a shoulder, I think, fractured his shoulder, whatever it was that cost him, and he had to continue to play, maybe tore a rotator cuff, something like that. Cost him money, cost him time with Cleveland, all that because he tried to gut it out and played tough and didn't get it. But as you can see, Rashee Rice, I'm not going to play the video because, I'm not a big fan of playing injury videos on repeat. But as you can see, because I'm sure you guys have seen it a ton, Rashee Rice is trying to make a play to Peanut Tillman punch the ball out successfully, by the way, might I add. He successfully pops the ball out. As that's happening, Mahomes is trying to make a tackle. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because when you go down the way that he did, by the way, Mahomes making a tackle, getting low and trying to undercut the defender. Did you not? Well, he didn't see it, but people in the chat, you're going to see it. Anthony Richardson just got hurt in the same position in the Steelers game. So Mahomes, you're the best quarterback on the planet. MVP, Super Bowl champion. When it's all said and done, maybe the best quarterback ever from a skill and position standpoint. And you put yourself in that position to maybe get hurt on a defender. Whereby you hurt your best option at wide receiver in the process. If I'm a quarterback, if I'm a coach, I tell my quarterback, you throw a pick. I got it. It sucks. You're a gamer. You want to go get your piece and try and tackle him and whatever. Let him go. There's no point. There is no point. There is only negative things that can happen when you go and try and tackle somebody who's running at the speed of light trying to score a touchdown. Let somebody else tackle him. Rashee Rice tried to do his thing. He got hurt, got carted off, couldn't put any weight on it, got carted off with the towel on his face. It looked like the world had ended. And it looks like his season has ended with a torn ACL. Like, things like that are difficult to overcome when you're a disguised middle of the road team, because that offense was struggling without without Rashee Rice stepping up halfway through the season like he did last year. This team, when you look across the skill position players, and old Kelsey, who had good, had a good game today out of necessity, but you're talking about an old Kelsey. You're talking about Sky Moore, who they drafted, not that good. Juju Smith-Schuster, not that good. Justin Watson, just a guy. Who else? McCole Hardman. You have Xavier Worthy, who I like, but he's not ready to step into a number one wide receiver role. He's not built to come in and be the Rashee Rice guy in the slot who can get the dirty yards. AO says, time to get Kadarius Toney back. Hey, they're going to have to be making a couple calls, because when you look across that offensive skill group, Kareem Hunt's back. I thought he played okay today for his first game. I think the backfield is his now. Carson Steele, that was always kind of a pipe dream. Samaje Perine, another guy who's a journeyman back. This team is in trouble offensively, guys. In trouble offensively, unless they make a move or unless something happens where Mahomes just puts everybody on his back. I don't see that. I don't see it. So this is a huge, huge, huge blow for a team that's now 4-0, but that had questions offensively, had questions defensively. I think they are very susceptible to some of the better teams in the AFC come playoff time. unless a move's made. But I saw that today and I was like, damn, that is a huge blow, because offensively, you need somebody to step up. And unless Travis Kelce's going to go vintage, turn back the hands of time and beat Father Time for one last run, I do not see it happening. Vikings, the other 4-0 team. I am incredibly surprised. Happily surprised that the Vikings are 4-0. Jordan Love came back today in the Brett Favre jersey during the walk-in. After they said he was going to be missing about 4 to 6 weeks, came back, gutted it out, played okay for his first time back. I think 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. Jayden Reed, the Packers did their thing. Nobody's really the number one guy. Watson got hurt. Offensively, they were in comeback mode. But the story is the Minnesota Vikings. The story is Kevin O'Connell taking Sam Darnold and turning him into a guy that has confidence, that is making the right throws, is making those throws well. Because there's a point in making the right throw, but then zipping it in there and making that throw well, right? That's a very difficult thing to do in the NFL, especially when your confidence has been beaten down by all the bad teams that you've been a part of, by all the coaches that passed up on you, by all the backup duties that you've had to do. It's hard to get that mojo back. It's hard to get that swagger back. Having Justin Jefferson helps, yes. It's not like he had an incredible game today. He has have had incredible games in the past. Addison came back, had a couple scores off the ankle injury, but they're playing solid football. And Kevin O'Connell may be in line for Coach of the Year if they can finish the season strong. I am just so surprised. Guys, I am so surprised how well the Minnesota Vikings defense is playing. Brian Flores, for his faults and his limitations as a head coach in Miami, we saw it here firsthand with his limitations on offense, with his limitations growing a franchise quarterback, with his limitations on being a people person in the building, with his limitations dealing with media and the front office. None of those things, absolutely zero of those things, have to do with him being a legitimate rock star defensive coordinator. Incredible. What they are doing to some of the top offenses in football is unreal. You're talking about swamping out the Texans, who, when you look at their complete, full, healthy roster, one of the best offensive skill position sets plus quarterbacks in the NFL. Swamped them out. Wasn't close. They did the same thing to the San Francisco 49ers. Top 5, top 3 skill position player QB combo with head coach in the NFL. You look at what they did today. I think it was 28-0 at one point, 28-7 at one point. And obviously the Packers played from behind. Minnesota relaxed a little bit more. They were basically a onside kick away recovery from going down and winning the game. But early on in that game, they took yet another quarterback with another great play caller, with another great set of skill position players, albeit interchangeable, yet still good. Took all those guys, zapped them. The way that he can disguise coverages, where the pressure comes from, all 3 levels of the defense just getting amazing play. I am just so surprised by this team, because last year I was on the bandwagon. I was like, hey, look, this is a team that could make some noise. Kirk Cousins, who, as you guys know, I have an affinity for Kirk as a quarterback in the last couple of minutes of the game. That's where the legend was born. It seems like you can just throw anybody in there and make the offense work, right? I would have been interested to see how J.J. McCarthy would have fared in this offense. Obviously, he's out. Sam Darnold in. And playing right now. I know I said Jayden Daniels the MVP, a bit tongue in cheek because he can win MVP and Rookie of the Year. That was a point I was trying to make. But right now, if you look across, I think it's between Baker and between Sam Darnold as leading their teams to good records and being legit front runners for the MVP. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. I just want to give the flowers to Brian Flores because he is, I don't know if he'll ever be in line for another head coaching position because of the deficiencies that were on display, plus the litigation in the NFL usually doesn't help when you're trying to meet with a front office and an owner who's going to say, yeah, but, I don't know. Him as defensive coordinator is an absolute lock. So I'm looking through the rest of the games. We obviously talked about the Commanders, San Francisco and New England. San Fran rolls. That was an easy game. Raiders and Browns. There's nothing really to say there. Deshaun Watson continues to not be that guy. Bad holding call. I know some people had Amari Cooper either playing for their team or against their team, either side of that aisle that you were on. Either you were happy or in disgust because they called back an 82-yard touchdown that would have at least put them up, maybe won the game on a holding call that was suspect at best. But that's the NFL, baby. Like, things happen on you could call holding on every play, and every holding penalty you could call, a lot of them are not holding. Tonight's game, before we get to questions, we do about 5 or so minutes of questions. Tonight's game is going to be really exciting. 3-0 Bills looking to be the other team to go 4-0. And the Ravens, who are better than their record suggests at 1-2, especially after the win at Dallas. This is a big. Can I call it this? I think this is a measuring stick game. And it's the rare double measuring stick game because new look Bills, no Stephon Diggs, hasn't been a problem yet. But when you're playing a defense that can get after it like Baltimore, they have to look and see, if we play Baltimore in the playoffs, which I'm sure they will if they're on the right side of the bracket, both teams are going to make the playoffs in my opinion. How do we match up against a team that's going to be in our way for an AFC Championship game or for a Super Bowl? How do we match up against a team that has a good pass rush, that has good corners, that has good safeties? How do we match up when we don't have that alpha guy? Our alpha guy is Josh Allen, but when we have guys out en route, how are those guys going to compare to a good defense? Flip side of the measuring stick game. MVP Lamar Jackson looks across the way, sees Josh Allen being like, I need to beat this guy. My team needs to beat this guy to make sure that we get to the AFC Championship game and get to a Super Bowl. 3-0 against 1-2, better than their record suggests Ravens. Double, put it on the poll. Has there ever been a double measuring stick game? Because I think this is it right here. All right, let's get to some questions in the chat. Shout out to the chat, by the way. Almost 6,000 people right now watching. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. All right, here's the question from Chicago. Great one. Question, what can you tell us about the event next Sunday in Chicago at Joe's on Wheat Street? Oh, my God, I am so glad you asked. That was a perfect plan. Let me pull up really quick. Let me see if I can pull up maybe Thomas has it somewhere in the back. Thomas, see if you can pull up the preview. We have like a little social clip for it. So we are going to be God Bless Football Team, Billy Stugotz, myself as the Sunday Night Live solo artist. We are going to be watching the Panthers versus Chicago Bears game live in Chicago at Joe's on Weed. And we are going to be on the stage, having fun, doing a watch party presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. We're going to be doing a hangout, watching the games, Q&As. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. Come out. If you're in the Chicagoland area, come out, join us. We're going to have fun. The game is going to be a little bit better now, I think, with Andy Dalton. It might be a little bit more of a shootout. Hopefully Caleb Williams can open up and start making those plays that we want to see him make. It's going to be a fun atmosphere. Again, Chicagoland area, come join us. We're going to be hanging out watching Panthers versus Bears at Joe's on Weed. Will it be on YouTube? I don't know. Great question. TD can maybe answer that in the chat. Yes, he says yes. The watch along will be on YouTube and live, obviously, for everybody. First coach to get fired this season. Money's got to be on Sirianni. Has to be. I'm thinking across guys that either just got hired or still have some leash. Sirianni seems to be the guy that his leash is running short, especially after losing to Tampa again and getting embarrassed. Obviously, their 2 wide receivers are out, but Jalen Hurts looks like he's regressing offensively. Sirianni seems to not take care of the offensive scheme, not take care of the defensive scheme, seems to be a vibes coach. And when the vibes are bad, that echoes all across the locker room, the front office. My money, I'd say Sirianni plus 300 to be first coach fired. I'd probably say Sirianni. Then they told me, can Sam Darnold sustain this run? We've never seen him do it. Let me preface it by saying that. We've never seen him be this good for a prolonged period of time. His deal with the Jets, not great. When he was with Carolina, had some okay moments, but a lot of bad moments. I think this is the best coach that he's been with offensively from a schemes perspective, from a quarterback relational perspective. Kevin O'Connell will be able to get the most out of Sam Darnold like he already has. I think if they continue to run the ball well, I think, yeah, Sam Darnold could definitely sustain the success throughout the season. Why not? Like, what's going to change unless he has some sort of injury or is, I don't know, like outside of injury, it's sustainable until it stops. So, yeah, I think so. Let's see. Will Madison win the starting job over Zamir White, Jacoby Walker? Former Minnesota Viking Alexander Madison lost his job and went over, and it's actually having a really good run with Las Vegas. My bad, I almost said Oakland. Yeah, because Zamir White, one-dimensional guy. Madison could catch the ball in the backfield and then also run hard. I think it's a good career resurgence for Alexander Madison, because I think that after his stint in Minnesota, everybody's a little bit down on him. So, yeah, I think he should be lead dog in that backfield. Ortiz, throw for your life, Bo Nix or Bryce Young. Damn, I'm dead. That's the answer. I'm dead. Tony, do you see that magician? The mentalist, yeah. Oz cut into a football cake. What are we doing? Look, we've had I don't know if is it Oz or O's? He pronounces it a weird way, whatever. We had him on the show, and I think he's very good at sleight of hand. The way that he does stuff that's not sleight of hand, look, I don't know. I saw the stuff today. I don't know how he does it. There's some stuff that he writes as he's like holding the paper. If you watch closely, there's a bit of sleight of hand to that. He's incredible. I think we need to lock him in jail until we figure out exactly how he's doing things. Kind of like David Blaine, like put him away somewhere and then figure out how he's doing things and then bring him back and be like, okay. Okay. You know what? Thank you. This is why aren't you talking Flacco? Why didn't you talk Flacco? You are 100% right. Thank you. And I do want to mention, with the promise of Anthony Richardson being a very good quarterback, right? Because the glimpses are there. The 70-yard arm strength is there. The ability to run away from defenders and be a dynamic rusher is there. The health and security of the ball is not. And right now, that's a big problem because, as we know, he's only played 16 or 17 games since high school, 18 games. So it's been a bit of a rocky road. Joe Flacco came in, offense didn't skip a beat, looked almost better. Death, I'm going to give you a free one here. You ready? A free Tony's top 5. This would have been in Tony's top 5. I would have put it in number 3. Death, taxes, and Joe Flacco being slightly better than your starting quarterback. There's something about him. I don't know. He is the ultimate relief pitcher. He's the middle reliever. Your starter gets in a bit of a jam. All of a sudden, your relief pitcher comes in. Your long reliever, Joe Flacco, just pitching a great game. Just pitch and catch with receivers. Throws a very catchable ball. Always in the right spot. Joe Flacco is, right now, if you think about it, I mean, is he the best backup quarterback in the NFL? That's healthy? I think so. I don't think there's anybody better. Thank you, NWFA, for the Flacco, because I had totally forgot about that. Kick for your life. Younghoe Koo or Prime Vinatieri? Wow. Can I go? I'm going to go Prime Vinatieri. Come on, you got to put respect on the boy. One Super Bowl single-handedly. I'm going to go Adam Vinatieri. Left Twix, right Twix. I'm a right Twix kind of guy. I know the NFL is a show, but thoughts on UGA Bama Miami? Dan's World. See, those two in 2 days, we had 2 of the best games of the season between Miami and Virginia Tech and then UGA Bama. Miami, Virginia Tech, I was here at my house, standing 4 feet away from the TV, 4 inches away from the TV, trying to see if the ball was moving on that Hail Mary catch. It was, by the way, moving all sorts of ways. If it was the NBA, they would have called travel on that ball for how many bounces it took. That game was incredible. And then Milroe versus Carson Beck. The game was dead in the water. Carson Beck brought him back 300 and some odd yards in the second half. And we're going to see him on Sundays very soon. But Ryan Williams is Devontae Smith 2.0. With better speed, with better balance, better body control. Ryan Williams is 17 years old. 17? And he's doing that against grown-ass men at Georgia. Moves that you don't see guys in the NFL do. And he's doing them at the highest levels in basically mini NFL, which is Alabama, Georgia. An incredible weekend of football. NFL was a bit lower of the roller coaster, but the high of Virginia Tech Miami was awesome. The high of Georgia versus Alabama was awesome. Very, very, very good. As the U back. Look, you win a game like that, you win a tough-ass game like that, Cam Ward makes a statement on a game where they were dead in the water. Xavier Restrepo with the falling back on the floor, 4th down catch to save the season. Then a couple plays later, Cam Ward to save the season again, gets out of a sack, 2-hand shovels it to Riley Williams, who scampers down the sideline, and then they score a touchdown. They use a little back. I'm not going to say all the way back. If they make the playoff, we're medium back. If they go deep into the playoff, you'll be back. Let's do a couple more here. I know the game is literally about to kick off or is kicking off right now. Let's do 2 more questions, TD. 2 more. Chuba Hubbard, am I right? You are right. Playing very well. We'll see what happens when Jonathan Brooks comes back, because I think he's going to be very, very good for that Carolina team. Last question. What kind of haircut will Jimmy Butler show up at tomorrow with NBA Media Day? I don't know. I'm excited. I will be there. Me, Chris Cody, Izzy Gutierrez, talking to some of your favorite Heat players for Media Day. We'll be doing a sit-down style, kind of like they did with the Dolphins a couple of weeks ago. We'll be doing with the Heat, me, Izzy, and Chris Cody. with all of that content coming very soon. So, guys, we love you. Thank you so much to the almost 6,300 people watching. We appreciate you. I do want to give thoughts and prayers and condolences over to the people that were in the path of the hurricane. Being from Miami, we know specifically how scary and how just how bad it is to feel the things that people are feeling across the path of that hurricane in the Panhandle, in Georgia, in some of the stuff that's happening in Tennessee and in North Carolina. Breaks my heart to see that. Thoughts and prayers to the people that are affected by the storm. And let's just hope that they can get back to a bit of normalcy and a normal life as soon as possible. Being from a place that has hurricanes more than anybody else, in Miami, it sucks, but you'll get through it. You'll persevere, and part of the human spirit. You know, we're constantly faced with challenges and with issues, and we're gonna survive and we're gonna get better and make it through the other side. So appreciate you, and hopefully, if you're watching this from any of those areas, we're sending our love, we're sending our prayers over to you guys, and hoping you get back to a bit of normalcy soon. Next weekend, Sunday Night Live from Chicago. We'll be doing the watch party. If you're in the Chicagoland area, get out to Joe's on Weed. Presented by Smirnoff. We're going to be having a bunch of fun watching Panthers versus the hometown Chicago Bears. Very excited to do that with the God Bless Football crew. But for me, for TD, who was instrumental in bringing you Sunday Night Live and all the things that we do here, thank you so much. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Joe's on Weed, Panthers, Bears, then Sunday Night Live right after that. Also, MMA Hangout. That's Saturday. UFC 307, Khalil Roundtree versus Alex Bajeda. Light heavyweight belt on the line. Guys, we are making it happen around here. The Make It Happen captain himself, Tende Tony, for TD, for me, for everybody else that loves the show. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys.